3 conversations. Elijah was going to try to beat me, but he failed. This is our last of our installments into the class specializations, which will be Mage. We did it last because mages suck.
And
well, they don't suck. I think the people who play them and are really good at them, it's just shocking how good they are. And I always sucked like all the way with them, so I never enjoyed them. Plus, they get to be squishy for so long. I really didn't enjoy the many trips to the spirit healer when I got dead.
Yeah.
Because I was out of mana.
Or you couldn't heal. Or you didn't have a buddy.
I hate not being able to heal.
or you couldn't blink.
Nobody. You couldn't blink yet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's fairly far into it, isn't it? Like 20 or later? 30?
Jeez.
Okay, that's a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks.
Okay. Anyway, my spec, I went 32, 0, 19. 32 points in Arcane, nothing in Fire, 19 in Frost. The reason being is I wanted to get all of the talents in Arcane that were beneficial to all classes or all types of magic for the mage. And then I took the Frost because of the crowd control. The roots and the slows and all of that junk. Because top level mages or high level mages in Battlegrounds could be a real bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, because
they could root you, blink, and then just lay down some heavy damage
and suppress you with the ability to slow you. It sucked.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So tier 1 Arcane, I took Arcane Subtlety, which just reduces your target's resistance to all schools of magic that you have by 10, which again, that's kind of why I took some of this, like I said, because it affects all of the schools of magic, whether you're throwing out a fireball, whether you're throwing out a frostbolt, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I also took, and that one also reduces arcane spell threat by 40%, which is important because one of your big spells is going to be arcane missiles. And arcane missiles, as I recall, generated amazing amounts of threat because it actually did a lot of damage. It's a channeled ability, a channeled spell, but anyway. I also took improved arcane missiles. It gives you a 100% chance to avoid interruption because it was a channeled spell, which just basically means that as you're casting, if you get a knockback if you took damage, whereas with this, with all 5 in that, you have 0% chance of a knockback, so it just keeps channeling and doing damage, so which is
nice
awesome when you're squishy. Second tier, I went Magic Absorption, which increases the resistance to all schools of magic by 10. And causes all spells you fully resist to restore 5% of your total mana.
On a 1 second cooldown.
On a 1 second cooldown, which isn't bad because which actually, if your resistances are high enough, you're going to resist enough spells cast at you, or should, to where it should be noticeable on your management.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I also took Arcane Concentration, gives you a 10% chance to enter a clear casting state, which is not identical, but I think it's very, very similar to the Druid one. Clear casting deal that you get in, what was that? Was that
balance?
In balance. If it is identical, again, there'll be something here saying that I'm wrong because I'm not. But anyway, third tier down, the only thing I took was Arcane Resilience, which increases your armor equal to 50% of your intellect. Intellect being your primary stat as a mage spellcaster.
Plus they had a buff, Arcane Intellect, which increased their intellect. Similar to Power Word Fortitude?
Yep. Except for intellect,
and not for stamina. Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, with that, you get an extra 50% of the total amount of your intellect rolled into your armor rating, which improves your not getting dead
as much, hopefully.
Fourth tier down. What are you gonna say, Lige? You started to breathe.
Well, didn't they have magma armor or
Nope.
fire armor or something weird too?
That junk might all be.
They had
Burning Crusade
frost
stuff.
armor,
Yeah.
ice armor, which those two both increased your armor, and they had arcane armor, which increased your resistances. And
one of
mana
them.
regen.
I only remember frost and magma.
I think one of
There was
them.
no magma.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I think magma was Burning Crusade.
Yeah, it was.
There was a magma armor at one time,
Eventually, yeah.
but I'm pretty sure it
It was
wasn't.
in the same boat as like Throne.
And I want to say arcane armor protected you, but as it protected you and mitigated damage, some of that damage was eaten out of your mana.
No, that's mana shell.
Is that what that is?
That's the bubble.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the bubble.
all right. All right, our resident hermit and
Awesome guy, badass dude who's just freaking great.
tier 5. I took both points in counter spell, which is basically something you cast. I believe it's an ability you cast at other spellcasters.
Yeah.
And it basically just, I think it's an interrupt.
Yeah.
I think you use it on somebody that's channeling a spell. It interrupts that spell, or they're casting, right? In their cast,
Yeah.
It interrupts, but with this, it also silences them for 4 seconds. Which nobody wants to be silent when you're a spellcaster for 4 seconds.
especially a healer.
Anybody. Master, yeah.
Arcane Meditation was my other talent that I took on that 4th tier. Just allows 15% of your mana to continue to regenerate even while casting and all that. There's a lot of that. It's pretty sweet. 5th tier, I took Presence of Mind, which, when activated, makes your next spell that's cast that has a cast time of 10 seconds or less, insta-cast. I thought that was worth it. And apparently, what it is you put it on yourself and it just stays there until you cast a spell that that eats that ability. And then maybe you have to renew it, I don't know.
Something like that.
Okay. I also took Arcane Mind from that 5th tier, which increases your maximum mana by 10%. I took all 5 points in that because your mana pool was also affected, I want to say, by your intellect. I want to say the more intellect you had, the more mana you had.
Yeah.
So all that junk kind of plays together. And then the last thing I took in Arcane was on the 6th tier, and I took all 3 points in Arcane Instability. And it increases your spell damage and critical strike chance by 3%. And again, it says spell damage and critical strike, not
all of them.
arcane or something. That's kind of the deal. I thought that was totally awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, nothing in fire. I got nothing against fire, except that it burns. I don't like being burnt. I think fire mages were actually pretty tough back in the day.
They did a lot of
They were competing with destruction warlocks a lot.
I don't know.
I don't know who was the best.
Destruction.
In 1st tier of Frost, I took Frost Warding. Increases the armor and resistance given to you by your Frost Armor and Ice Armor spells. And that'll be up on the screen right now. The other thing I took on that 1st tier was Elemental Precision. Increases your chance that an opponent, or reduces the chance, I do mean, that an opponent can resist your Frost and Fire spells by 6%. Thought that was worth having. 2nd tier, I took Frostbite. Gives your chill effects, which are your slow, right? Your slow abilities. A 50% chance to freeze the target for 5 seconds. So basically like the same route as they get from a Frost Nova.
Yep.
I think what that does is like more of a stun. I think it's like Blackout for the Shadow Priests.
I don't know. It says,
I don't know.
It says freeze, so
says
I was
freeze.
assuming it was a route.
Yeah. I don't know.
I also took Improved Frost Nova. Reduces the cooldown on your Frost Nova spell by 4 seconds, which that's super duper important because that's when your main run. You pop that, freeze junk into place when it's about to beat you to death through your
Blink.
through your cloth robe, and then run or blink away if you got blink.
At first, that's what that spell's for. Eventually, that spell is
terrible and does lots of damage or roots people, so you can just beat
To
'em.
lock them down so, that
just
you can just
punish them.
pummel the crap out of them.
So you can use your
miles away.
arcane missiles just to beat the living crap out of them.
Yeah.
And Frost Nova, which will also slow everybody.
Then on that second tier, I also took Permafrost, which increases the duration of your chill effects by 3 seconds.
Oh no!
So that goes along with that Frostbite, you know, freezing the target, or, yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, maybe or not.
And permafrost reduces the target's
Speed by an additional 10%,
percent. Yeah.
which is good.
So they're already slowed from your chill effects,
Yeah.
and now your chill effects last longer and slow for more.
Yep.
That's terrible.
Then on the 4th tier down, I would put 2 points out of 3 in Piercing Ice, increases the damage done by your frost spell by 4%. It would have been 6%. I went 4. And I think I took those 2 just so that I would have enough points to get to Shatter, which is my 4th tier talent in that, and the last one that I got. And I only had enough points to put 4 in that, and that increases the critical strike chance of all your spells against frozen targets by 40%. Which, again, that's back to the, you pop Frost Nova, you root them with frozen, and then you lay down whatever does the most damage, arcane missiles or whatever it is, and because they're taking so much extra damage, it's just terrible for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Next.
What I did was pretty much the same exact thing as Dad, except nothing in frost and all the rest into fire. So I
So you
have
got 19 into fire?
24 into fire, so almost the same.
Oh.
I have 27 in arcane, 24 in fire, nothing in frost. I put 1 point in arcane subtlety, which only reduces the target's resistance to all your spells by 5, and threat reduction by 20%. I have all 5 in improved arcane missiles, which 100% chance to avoid interruptions while casting the spell. 5 in magic absorption, resistances mana on full spell absorption. 5 in arcane concentration, clear casting state. 1 in arcane resilience, armor. I didn't have any in improved counter strike. I got 3 in arcane meditation, 4 in arcane mind, so I only get 8% max mana, and then 1 in presence of mind, and only 2 in arcane instability. Now, into fire, I have all 5 points in improved fireball, which reduces the cast time of your fireball spell by half a second.
What's the regular cast time on that? 2 seconds?
Probably 2.5 seconds maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have 5 in ignite, which gives your spell critical strikes from fire spells cause the target to burn for an additional 40% of your spell's damage over 4 seconds. So 40% of the damage you did with a fire crit will be applied as a dot for 4 seconds.
Score!
Yeah, it's more damage. And then I got both in flame throwing, which increases the range of all your fire spells by 6 yards. Going down from that, I have Pyroblast, which gives you a whole new spell, which is a huge fireball that does a lot of damage and applies a dot. And I have Incinerate, increases the critical strike chance of your Fire Blast and Scorch spells by 4%. Scorch is a really fast casted, sort of weaker spell, but because it's so fast, you can cast it 3 or 4 times for every 1 fireball, so you probably could use that instead.
I like that it's casted.
Yeah, casted it. Improved Scorch for more castedids.
Product of public school system.
You're welcome.
I think they should be telling me you're welcome. Go ahead.
Your Scorch spell has a 100% chance to cause your target to be vulnerable to fire damage. This vulnerability increases the fire damage dealt to your target by 3% for 30 seconds. Stacks up to 3,001 times. That's probably not right. It's probably like 10 times.
3001 is funnier though.
Yeah, yeah. It'll say somewhere how many times it actually stacks up to. Oh no, that's 30,001. Well, that's even better.
It appears I should have gone fire. I wouldn't need anything but to get to there, and then bam, everything dies.
Scorch something.
One shot killing the whole universe.
Eventually, yeah. You'll need to cast those 30,000 scorches, but each one you cast is going to do more damage. Eventually, it's going to die. Then I got Master of Elements. Your fire and frost spell criticals refund 30% of their base mana cost.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one. So
I actually thought about trying to get to that one because I looked at that and thought, God, that'd be so nice to have.
Yeah,
but then I looked at everything else that I took and went, I don't want to give it the amount that you have to give up to get there.
Yeah, not really worth it.
I
unless you're gonna go there to get there and then just go the rest
And then
of
just keep fire. Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I wanted the roots and the slows and all that.
Yeah.
Plus, you get the better ice armor and this frost armor and all that nonsense. So. Carry on.
The last 3 points I have are critical mass. Increases the critical strike chance of your fire spells by 6%. So this spec build thing is going to just naturally have a fairly high amount of critical chance, and that's pretty cool. Fire spells already hit really hard, and when you crit, you put dots on people, so the more you're critting, the more dots you put on people, the more damage that is, the more faster things die. This seems like
But it's totally useless in Molten Core.
absolutely crap in Molten Core because
Just saying.
yeah, fire damage does nothing, I'm pretty sure, to them because they're all fire elementals. This is useless for Molten Core. If we were doing Molten Core builds, I lose.
I get to go because everyone loves the frost guy.
Everybody will love me.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of you,
Speaking of me, I went pure frost with only a little bit in the others. I went 8, 11, 32. I went, so for frost, I did the exact same thing on the first level of frost warding and elemental precision. Then I went ice shards, all 5 points. It increases your critical strike damage bonus of your frost spells by 100%.
I thought about getting that one as well, but I wanted to get that 4th tier, so.
Yeah. I went Frostbite as well, and I went Improved Frost Nova. I did not get Permafrost. It is a good idea, but I just couldn't see where I would fit it in. Maybe I get rid of something else.
Again, the reason I took that, or the big reason I took that was so that I could, because of the benefit that you get in Battlegrounds.
yeah.
Yeah. I might do that for Battlegrounds, but who knows. If I even play it.
But there's no changing specs, at least not like there is now in Classic.
Yeah, no.
Classic, by the time you get max level, you don't want to change specs anymore because it costs you more money or more gold than you can make in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And then I went Piercing Ice as well, but all 3 points. So I have the 6%.
Yep, that's a good one.
Then I went Cold Snap when activated.
Yeah,
This spell finishes the cooldown of all of your frost spells.
That's a really good one.
Yep. And then I have Improved Blizzard, excuse me. Add a chill effect to your blizzard spells, or blizzard spell. This effect lowers the target's movement speed by 65%, lasts 2 seconds.
Blizzard could really use some improvement right now.
Dude, everybody should be taking Improved Blizzard. That's actually a good one because if I recall correctly, Blizzard is an
Yes.
yeah,
it's
so
like Rain of Fire.
Yeah, it's like Rain of Fire. So you're gonna have an area of effect, and then everything in that now gets slowed more.
Which, if you do like we said, what's the ability?
Permafrost?
No, Frost Nova.
Yeah.
Blink out and drop Blizzard on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Nobody escapes. They're too slow.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good combination.
And then I went Shatter, all 5 points, increasing the critical strike chance of all your spells against frozen targets by 50%,
That's a good one.
which plays off of Frostbite.
I agree.
And then I have Improved Cold Cone just for more damage with the spell. Because if I remember, it didn't do much damage.
Cone of Cold?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What did I say?
Cold of Cone?
It's like that.
It's like
but with less dyslexia.
Yeah.
Then I went Ice Block. You become encased in a block of ice, protecting you from all physical attacks and spells for 10 seconds, but during this time you cannot attack, move, or cast spells.
Yeah, that's a good one for PvP. You see that one get popped all the time in PvP, and
In the world.
when your tank goes down in the dungeon or raid, and you're doing the most damage because you're the Frost Mage.
Yeah. And then... yeah. Oh,
Yeah, block of ice.
In PvP, that one would be a good one to use if you're surrounded by people and your blink's off cooldown. You
On
can
cooldown.
that on cooldown. If you're waiting on your blink, you can use this so you don't die, and then you can Frost Nova and then blink away.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Yes. But then I went Ice Barrier. Instantly shields you, absorbing 438 damage, lasts 1 minute. While the shield holds, spells will not be interrupted. Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Then put 11 points into Fire. Gives your Fire... I went with Impact. Gives your Fire spell a 10% chance to stun the target for 2 seconds. I just figured
That's a good one.
if I have, if I use Scorch or something that's
Fire
quick,
Blast.
yeah,
Because
something that's
it's
quick,
cast,
and it
fire
gives me
spell,
that chance to stun them, then that's just...
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's a good...
it makes sense to roll it in to your rotation. Then from there, I went Ignition, your critical strike chance from fire damage
Ignite?
spells. Or yeah, Ignite, excuse me. Your critical strike chance, or critical strikes from fire spell damage.
That's the one Light John took too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dot one. That's a good one.
And then I went to Pyroblast because I could get it. I figured it. The way I plan to use it is more as an execution. Oh, they're running away at low health.
It's got a long cooldown.
Yeah.
Or cast time. So you're gonna have to use it while you can hit them. If they're running away, you're probably not gonna be able to get a cast off.
Unless you can,
Unless
slow
you can
them.
like blink them and slow them, and then maybe.
I probably won't use it much. I might get rid of it.
Okay.
But who knows? I just threw it in for giggles. And then in Arcane, I put 8 points. I've gotten Arcane Stability, which they both got, and Improved Arcane Missiles.
Subtlety?
Arcane Subtlety.
Yes. Jesus. Then I have Improved Arcane
that out.
Missiles,
Okay.
which they both got.
You got
And-
improved Arcane Missiles?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I put 1 point into Wand Specialization, because once upon a time that was actually a great way to manage your mana.
Yeah.
That's true. And at low levels, the wand is a lifesaver.
Yep.
There
Plus,
was,
and if I decide not to have Pyroblast, it'll just go straight into Wand Management or Wand Specialization.
Wand management.
Wand management.
That's what it's gonna be. And
So
that,
those are our deals. Let's see. Let's talk about everybody that can be a mage. In classic,
Gnomes,
Gnomies, humans,
Trolls,
and undead. And that's it.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. The
And
Night
the-
Elves had a ban because they hated magic. The Dwarves were far too religious. The Tauren were druidic and
They were,
shamanistic.
the druidic and shamanistic was
The
kind
orcs were
of demons, greenskins.
or shaman.
Okay.
They were either demons or very shamanistic.
Alright. There's all that.
And the trolls were just magic.
Yep. Magic.
Same with the undead kinda. But they were humans before, so it makes sense that they could be mages.
And the trolls, they couldn't be warlocks at this time.
No.
Since you guys are more arcane, would you go Gnomes with their 10% increase in
No.
intellect?
It's a thought that I would consider, but more than likely, okay, if I were gonna play an alliance mage, more than likely it would be gnome. I don't like humans.
If I were gonna play an alliance, if I had to play an alliance mage, I wouldn't play a mage.
I just wouldn't play that damn game. And if I was gonna play a mage on the horde,
You know?
more than likely, I would do Forsaken. But there is something to be said for the trolls
You know.
Berserk.
with the berserk
And the regeneration.
and the natural regeneration.
Survivability. It's
Yeah.
a key factor in everything.
Yeah, they could actually be super good. I'm not sure.
Undead would be good too, though.
You could
Because of their
cannibalize.
shadow resistance.
They have really high shadow
With all the resistance that mages get from the one talent, the absorption, spell absorption, giving you more resistances, having a higher shadow resistance is going to make you more likely to fully absorb shadow spells, which is going to give you more mana back.
Which would be awesome
That's
during,
a good one to.
during the old Naxxramas when everything was shadow damage.
Well, that and you become a problem for
Shadow Priests.
Shadow Priests.
And Warlocks.
Shadow priests and warlocks in
Yeah.
the battleground, or at least you would have the potential to be a problem for.
Yeah.
So
And I don't think Warlocks or Shadow Priests
That's what
have
Winter
a
was.
spell interrupt.
Winter was a
Undead Mage.
Forsaken Mage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a guy that used to play in Classic a long time ago in a guild I used to be in.
On our server.
Winter and Eowyn, if by chance you guys were watching this, hey.
What's up?
Hi. I've been bait for you.
We've all been bait. What are you talking about?
What that means is when
The Dirty Alliance.
Dirty Alliance were raiding Crossroads and killing the quest givers,
They would appear.
Eowyn would show up and she was a orc rogue, and Winter would show up and he was a Forsaken Mage, and
They would kill
they
them.
would spank people, and they would have us flag ourselves or do something to get flagged so that we would get attacked by like an Alliance rogue or an Alliance
Bring out the rogues or
feral
a druid.
feral druid.
Yeah.
And then they would spank the living crap out of them, as I recall. They didn't always win.
More times than not.
I seem to remember more times than not.
If they were both there,
it was
more
unlikely.
unlikely they were gonna win. They were.
Because she had all the stun mocks down.
Yeah, she must have been
Subtlety or something.
subtlety.
Could have been assassination, but
I don't know what.
she
I don't
just
know what-
she
other
was
than
awesome.
She was.
I think
something.
I think those two were some of the people that back in the day actually sat down and went, well, if I put a talent here, that gives me this percent of this. What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's how they built their whole deal, and then they went out and just spanked everybody.
killed everything.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
I think
And they were nice.
I think he was a frost mage too.
He was a Frost
Was a
Mage.
Frost
yeah.
Mage, yeah.
So they had the slows and the stuns.
They had all the slows, they had all the roots, they
Yeah.
had all the stuns. Between the two of them, they were terrible.
Orc Rogue and Undead Mage, they were PvP people.
Anyway, this is our last installment of this.
Yeah.
We'll do something else next time. Probably Inquisitor Martyr,
Probably.
but I'm not sure. We'll discuss it and find out. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like us, like us. If you don't like us, that's fine.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Again, I'm all totally down with, everything. Or not.
Or not. Whatever floats your boat.
Or sinks it. Yeah, whatever.
Water does both.
So this is BC Conversations, and we're signing off.
I'm Talon.
Elijah.
Jonah.
Bye.